Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coach's Corner. We're glad to have you. We're glad to share here with you. Today's particular topic is amazing, and I just want to dive right in because we know it's a preface to everything you can do in life. But I'm Jamel Matias. I'm a certified Bob Proctor coach. My Instagram is Believe in the Unseen. It's all about belief in yourself and what you want and what you choose to achieve, and I help guide you towards that. And I'm actually noticed the hat, a little different look today. I'm from the DMV area from Maryland, but I'm in sunny Florida today. So, not to make anybody jealous, don't worry. Open a window, let the sun shine in. But I'm going to pass it to my amazing colleague, Paul.
Thank you, Jamel. And I'm from Toronto, the Toronto, Ontario, Canada area, and also a Proctor Gallagher consultant, mindset success mentor. And I help improve the quality of people's lives, helping them achieve their or realize their most elusive personal and professional goals. And I'll pass this on to my colleague, Lou.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lou Perica. I too am a success mindset mentor, certified consultant at Proctor Gallagher. I am located on the East Coast, currently in Georgia. In the summer, I'm in Maine, and next week I'll be in Florida, Jamel. So save that sunshine for me. So what I do is I mentor growth-minded women who are really searching for more out of life, and I teach them a different approach to success by working from the inside out so they can thrive in every area of their life. Alicia.
Yeah, hi, my name is Alicia Espinosa. I am in Sweden. I am usually from Panama. I was born in Panama. I live in Sweden. And I also Proctor Gallagher consultant. I am a values and mindset coach. And I help individuals or high performers that have achieved everything in life but still feel empty on the inside to find that joy and fulfillment inside themselves so that they can also be happy about their external success.
Very
Yes.
good.
All right. Are we ready to dive in here?
We are
Yeah.
ready. We
Oh,
are
yeah.
ready to
This,
go.
this is a massive one here. As we share, a lot, every week. So before I forget, make sure you drop some comments. Feel free to drop some questions, especially as we, continue to discuss such a special topic. Every topic is special, especially when you look at it in yourself and your results in life. So don't be a stranger. We are here to help you. We're here to get to know you, your goals, and guide you through this thing called life. You know what? When I say this thing called life, it just reminded me of a quote called "Spiritual beings having a human experience." Have
Absolutely.
anyone here ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it has even more meaning when, in connection to today's topic.
Yeah.
The magic word is attitude.
Attitude.
There we go. Yes, the magic word is attitude. And, my understanding of attitude, I always thought it was negative. Isn't that interesting, right? And I'm
Very.
sure most of us believe that as well, because we had this conditioning thinking attitude is a negative thing. Look at that attitude. Why do you have such a poor attitude? Right? We always hear like a negative connection to attitude, but attitude can be positive as well.
Yeah.
So before we get into, explaining what it is, let's just start with this question, kind of pivot from there. All of us have, tremendous knowledge with this material and training, but, when you receive a better, excuse me, understanding of attitude and what it means, did you see things with a wider perspective?
Mm.
And how do you approach task and life, with this awareness? So, Paul, would you like to kind of start that off and explain what attitude really is?
Yeah, sure. So I really like this quote from Viktor Frankl, who wrote a fantastic book, Man's Search for Meaning. Mm-hmm. And Viktor Frankl was a neurologist, psychiatrist, and he was a Holocaust survivor. And he had this great quote when he said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, and that's the last of human freedoms, to choose one's thoughts and attitude in any given situation." So, the attitude is a composite of three things. It's our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And so I know that one of you is going to pull up the stick man shortly and be able to explain it better. But so there's energy flowing through us, and it just is. It's not positive or negative, but we can choose a negative thought or positive thought, and and that will affect how it is we impress it upon our subconscious mind. But we can take those thoughts, we can reject and accept any sort of thought that we have, and we can turn it into a negative thing or a positive thing. And we can't think of two things at the same time, right? We can only think of one thing so we're going to think of something positive, or we're going to think of something negative. So you can take that energy and take a thought, reject a thought, or accept a thought, and impress it upon our subconscious mind. And that's going to affect our feelings, our emotions, and that puts us in a certain vibration, and that vibration will determine how we act, and how we act will determine the results that we get. And so, every morning when we wake up, we choose how we feel rather than allow the outside circumstances. Oh, is it raining today? Or it's Monday and I hate Mondays, or I have to face this person today, or I have to drive here, or I have this appointment. So, and then you can think about it negatively or positively. But rather than allow the outside circumstances and be controlled by the outside circumstances, we have to remember and realize that we control everything from within. It's our thinking about, about whatever it is. Everything just is, and it's our thinking about it that makes it, good or bad. Lou, do you want to add to that?
Sure. So kind of like with Jamel and also what Paul said, this, once again, I have to be vulnerable. I never thought about it. I really never thought about it. It was just another word. And I think I say this almost on every call, because I realized that I truly was going through life unconsciously. I was really sleepwalking, and I was a reactor. I would react to my outer circumstances or conditions. But I didn't realize this is just the way I did things, right? And it wasn't until I started to study the materials, study myself, and understand what attitude truly was. And now that I understand, it's my outlook on life. It's how I choose to respond to any circumstance or condition or event instead of react. And looking back, I realized, boy, oh boy, again, I was a really good victim. I reacted to a lot of things. But nowadays, I have to tell you, I do have to pat myself on the back because there are still circumstances and conditions. It could be in someone else's life, and perhaps I am part of that life, or, part of that environment or whatever. And I always I always am mindful to, all right, well, how does this affect you? Why is it bothering you? So I'm always checking in on myself, on my attitude, because just like Paul said, everything just is. It's the meaning that we give something. So this is where true empowerment comes in, when you can just pause and just say, all right, whatever's happening is happening. How am I going to respond to it? Or just look at it just neutrally without giving it any story and any meaning and just let it pass through. But this is true empowerment. This is the starting of having a bulletproof attitude that no matter what is happening, you are in charge of the respond or don't respond. So that's super powerful, but I was never like that before. I was definitely a reactor. I was the up and down, good days, bad days, even days, right? Good days, bad days, even days. So now I find that to be much more even, but on a higher level of even without the big drops and the highs, right? It's a nice steady flow. Alicia.
Yeah, I also the same. It's like I was so what is incompetent about what attitude was. And for me, it's like the glasses, how you see the world. And I normally I have my different glasses. You
Here we
can
go.
see the glass very dark. Everything that you see is dark, or you can have the opportunity glasses. Like, oh my gosh. So it is a very big difference in those two glasses. And normally I hear or you say that the world is not as it is as you see it. And you see it as you are. So if you have a bad attitude, then you will see everything outside you as bad. Maybe you see like everything is shitty if all the time. So if you see everything like shit, then yeah, if your attitude is like that, you will see everything like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. That is
Can you top that, Jamel?
that was an epic moment that should be like a screenshot. Um, but no, I love the visuals because it helps people see things a little clearer, a lot clearer. And I can't top that. I'll find something from my daughter's toys or something, but when we're talking about attitude, I think a lot about the law of vibration, right? Because there's a connection there. Notice we all laughed when Alicia shared, the icon that she did. But, that's our vibrational state. So it shifted compared to whatever it was. They say laughter is it food for the soul, I believe? I think that's the old quote where when you laugh, it releases on a molecular level a lot of different things. And it shifts your vibrational state. So attitude, I think it's synonymous, if you will, with the law of vibration, right? Because it's how you're thinking in that moment, right? Maybe you came here today to watch, Coach's Corner. Thank you for viewing. And you came here with a great attitude, right? That person there, Paul, he says some things, and I'm excited to see it next Sunday. Alicia, she says some awesome stuff when she does her shades and holds up things. She makes me laugh, but she helps me see things better, right? And I want to hear what Lou's saying. Lou's amazing. I love that. So what happens is you're shifting your vibrational state. And what is the law of vibration? A primary law.
Mhm.
So if you're at a higher vibration, you're attracting things that keep that vibration. You're attracting, that's why I be in a gratitude state. I did my gratitude, even on travel, I have to make it part of my day because I know it sets me up for a high vibrational state to be grateful. And there's my attitude. I start to program my mind to see everything I'm grateful for in every moment. And I wasn't always like this. I would react to things like last night. I reacted. Here's an example. I think this is part of your the question, but I'll share this quick story.
Yeah,
You know, go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Alicia.
I want to say something that, my attitude before, why I use prompt, and because I want to laugh about everything, is because I was so busy before, uh, chasing different success, that I thought that I needed to be so, my attitude was like I needed to be so serious. But no, life is not so serious. Sorry, Yamel. I just want.
No, it's okay. That's great, because we go through life being so serious. I'm sure that's probably everybody that watches this.
Mm.
And it's really what you make it. And it's also based on your perception, right? We talked a lot about our mental faculties. So, you looking at life and situations in a certain way will dictate how you feel. And that's your attitude, right? So the story Paul mentioned, you can accept or reject any thoughts in your conscious mind. If anybody has a stick man, feel free to hold it up. But basically, the top portion there, thank you, Lou, is the conscious mind. A lot of us just operate on that level. At the bottom there, where the heart is, that's your subconscious. And underneath that is your body. Your body is simply an instrument of the mind. So your attitude is basically all of that connected. But it always starts with your thoughts, right? So you can accept or reject any thoughts or any situation. You can be in the middle of a storm, meditating in the middle of a park where there's a loud band playing and a dog licking your leg, and you stepped on poop before you sat down on a bench, whatever, right? Where's your vibrational state? Are you allowing that to affect what you're grateful for, which is in that present moment? So long story short, I was doing a presentation. I told all my family members I cannot be interrupted during this time. And you're probably guessing what happened. I love my family so much. They know that. So here I am, 12 minutes in the presentation. My dad is calling me. He's calling me. And somehow he didn't get the message from out of all of us that I cannot be interrupted. So here I am looking at the phone. Imagine right now I would just turn off my camera and run away, right? It'd be pretty bad, right? All of a sudden I had to do this, So I had to kind of, I couldn't answer. I had to text him while talking. And then he couldn't get some code or something to get in the door, So I had to stop everything. I said, I'm sorry, everybody. I have to, it's kind of emergency. I'll be right back. But the point is, I was a little, because that's never happened at that magnitude. And I was reacting. I was upset because it was, it wasn't professional, in my opinion. But I started thinking about different ways to reverse that vibrational state. What was I grateful for in that instance? So I replace, whenever I start shifting, I replace with 3 positives, and you can use this skill as well. At least 3 in that situation. You get a flat tire, well, at least I'm safe. At least I didn't get in an accident. At least I have a car, right? So there's 3 positive things that could overlap the negative that you're perceiving. And that shifts your vibrational state, And like Alicia said, just having fun in life and finding the joy and even laughing at yourself or with yourself, is very powerful. Just wanted to share that quick story and spare some details.
Thanks, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
That's so funny. I wanted to touch upon having an attitude of gratitude. So, like probably all of us, every day we write our gratitude. There are days when I may miss 1 or 2 days in between. And this morning, I was making some breakfast and I said, well, let me get out my gratitude journal. And I start off writing my goal. And then I start off. Now, I don't necessarily do 10. I just fill the whole page. And absolutely, hands down, my whole vibration shifted. It's really quite amazing to set aside, though, sometimes to set aside that 15 minutes, you're like, oh, but I get something to do. But I'll tell you, having an attitude of gratitude, Bob says, attitude is a composite, like Paul said, is of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. It's not one ingredient over the other. It's a composite, just like a cake. When you enjoy a cake, you say, wow, that's great cake. We don't say, oh, that's great flour. That's great spice. Oh, I can taste the sugar or whatever, right? It's the composite. And that's what attitude is. It's the composite of all three things. So having an attitude of gratitude, just like Jamel was saying, that if you did get a flat tire, and not that I've had a flat tire, but there are things that come up in life, right? Or sometimes you're stuck in traffic, right? And you've got to get to somewhere. I now, instead of reacting, tapping my fingers, let's go, move, right? That's what I used to do. I learned now to take a deep breath. Perhaps it's saving me from being in an accident up the road. I don't know why, but I know that I'm in it, and I just have to relax, think of something to be grateful for, and understand that life happens. We are not robots. Life happens, and we have to just allow life to happen and accept it when it happens to other people. When we react to, oh, you're late, right? We put pressure on people and we put pressure on ourselves. It's just that do the best that you can, but always do the best you can with a great attitude. It's pretty hard to yell at someone or not like someone when they have a really great attitude. And that's part of it also. Jamel, talking about vibration, right? Sending off that energy. If I walked into a room and I was late and I was super tense, I'm giving off that energy right away before I even open my mouth. But if I walk in calm and relaxed, then people will respond differently to that energy. They won't get upset. I'm not going to be triggering them with my own anxious energy walking into that room. So just do the best you can, but having an attitude of gratitude, I think we can all agree, is really the best attitude to have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so good, and I agree with Lou and Jamel, and writing down, having a gratitude journal and writing that down. But it's gotten to the point for me where even if I don't write it down, I can sometimes stop myself. I can just be sitting in my driveway or something, and I can just start thinking about all the little things I'm grateful for. Maybe the community I live in, the home I have, the job I have to go to, and all those little things, as opposed to, Jamel referred to having a flat tire, or Lou mentioned being stuck in traffic, someone cutting you off, and then you get to work and you're a little bit late and you don't have the parking spot you normally get, and just you walk in and they say, hey, what's wrong? I'm just in a bad mood, I'll get over it. But you really don't. You're allowing all these little things to accumulate and get upset, and they just rob you of your peace and of the moment that you're having, and that you could be. You're not being present. You're just allowing all these things. You might even be heading into work or heading to a meeting and thinking, oh man, I hate, my boss is going to say, or this person is bugging me. And you start living, playing in your mind all these, possible scenarios, or, potential scenarios, or imagined scenarios that aren't even going to happen. And you just put yourself in a whole, really, bad vibration, for lack of a better word. You don't put yourself in a good vibration, and you go in, your expectations are of, I'm going to meet with this person and they're going to upset me. I've already had hit every red light, and had gas and all this sort of things. You're just letting these things eat away at you. Whereas when you start your day or take a moment to experience some gratitude, like Lou said, those little things that used to really bother you, they don't accumulate inside you like, some kind of toxin. It just isn't there. And those things just don't build up inside you, and they don't affect you so negatively. And so that now your outlook is a whole lot different, and you're so much more at peace and calm and in control of yourself. It's such a much better place to be.
I just want to say one quick thing, is that when we do, that is all, we've learned to react that way. We have seen adults, that's how we learned how to react. It was taught to us, and we recorded it. So it's just when you were talking, Paul, and because I was reliving everything, and I was like, I learned how to react. A child learns how to get frustrated, how to get angry, how to yell at somebody, how to get nervous when they're late, right? These were all taught. So they're just, they're unconscious reactions. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I also think it's a lot of unconscious reaction, and but we have the power to use our mind because sometimes it happens something, and then we put so much energy in the thing that happened. And then we have two possibilities. The one is to react or respond to that activity or event. The outcome of this event, it depends if we react or we respond. And it's in this response that we have the power, but we give all the power to the event. And then what happened, now it's come, we go in hammer and hammer all the time instead of taking and be more aware why I'm reacting that way instead of using this hammer all the time. And because then sometimes we react and we let our emotions take over. And then what happens when the emotions take over? We start to fight or flight or freeze. Like we go to the animalistic reaction, how the animal, when they feel attacked. So it's the same for us. And instead of stopping there and taking this and be more aware what is ongoing in me, why I'm feeling this way, and then respond. And sometimes also when somebody say to us something, we start to think, and the perception about what we hear is what we start to creating the feelings that we have. And it's when we don't know exactly if what the person say to us is right or not. So for example, Lou, I can take the example with Lou. Lou, if I tell you, Lou, you are not a nice person. I don't know. You are the person that I never find another person so bad like you. I told you what happened with you.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly if what I'm telling you is right or not. And if you have a bad self-image, then maybe you start to telling yourself, I'm so bad. And then you start to be angry. It's not what I told you, but it's what you tell yourself.
That's right.
Because if I tell you in Swedish, you will not
I
understand.
wouldn't understand. That's right.
Yeah, but if I tell you, oh, Lou, you have a beautiful hair, you cut that, but why did you paint it like, or you color in green?
Yeah.
And then you say, no, but I don't have green. It's because you can see that. And then you can, maybe you start to say, Alicia maybe have some problem with the eyes because I don't have green hair, you know? So when we don't understand, when we don't know exactly if what the person say, if we don't can see that, if we cannot touch that, then we start to react in our head,
Mhm.
you know, and then the reaction come.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you are the most beautiful person I know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just, you know, it's like, but if I told you that in Swedish you will not understand, you will not be angry, you will not start to talk and go, you know,
Mhm.
you just, it is something that I told you and then you don't understand that.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, that's a great example, Alicia. Um, you mentioned the word perception a lot, right? And a lot of times we only see something negative or bad based on our own perception, right? So each of us here and everyone that's watching and or watch the replay has a different perception, and it even shifts at different times, right? So we're very unique individuals, but what I was thinking about is when something negative happens, that's an opportunity that I now see the universe is telling me this is an opportunity to be grateful. This is an opportunity for you to be more aware of what you're allowing to shape your tomorrows. Because if you keep focusing on negative things, what else are you going to get? More negative things to match that vibrational state. This is why this topic is very important. And I didn't realize how powerful vibration is. Bob Proctor always shares, nothing rests. Everything is in constant movement. Everything vibrates. And even the things that seem to be solid, with the naked eye, that's why the eye can be a gift and a curse, right? Because we rely, oh, that computer is solid. But no, you take a microscope and look down in there, there's little things moving around. Even I was reading something and it talked about magnetism, how the metal is the same, but it's the
Mhm.
molecules that
The way
makes
they
it. Yeah, and that's Neville Goddard.
magnetized or demagnetized, depending
Right,
on how they're set up. Yeah.
exactly. So we are creating everything, right? So if we allow our attitude, excuse me, to be negative, you're creating more negativity, right? So you're creating things to match what's coming from your own perception. So it's like a cycle, right?
Yeah.
So you're the focus of everything outside of you. So if your attitude is awesome, you wake up happy, I'm alive. Yes, thank goodness. I'm going to do something today that the world will, cause an effect, right? Which is the law of laws. So you at this high vibrational state, you notice like I used to test this when I was cycling over the bridge. Actually, just cycling in general, I would smile at everyone. I'll send energy to every person I pass, and you'll get a smile back, right? People pick up on your energy, even unconsciously. It's just a natural state. I know it's called consciousness, but even like walking past somebody, you just kind of wave or just kind of give a smile. Or, I do it consciously now because I'm aware of it. But this is basically shaping your whole life. And your attitude is essential to understand and apply it, daily throughout the day. And Paul mentioned, sometimes he stops, throughout the day to realize what he's grateful for. That's awesome because that's a higher level awareness when you're like, okay, I'm starting to go down this deep end. Look at Alicia's glasses. That's
Yeah.
rose-colored lenses, right? You see everything with love.
Yeah.
Everything is working for you, right? Nothing to you, it's working for you. That's why you have to kind of shift the way you've been looking at things. And Lou mentioned, we learned a lot of things that doesn't work for us, and people take it to their grave. Stop doing that. Let this call be an awareness and awakening for you, because we're all here to help you. Yeah, that's just some thoughts that came to mind.
Yeah. And I can think of, so I'm sure all of us have experienced really miserable people in our lives. We just met people that were just not happy people. And when you think of that person, think about how they live. Think about the results they get in all aspects of their life, right? Whether it's relationships, their health, income, careers, anything. And you'll notice it matches, because vibrations or emotions are the language of the universe. And just like Alicia said, if she said something to me in Spanish, I wouldn't understand. But even if she said something to me in Spanish and used a different tonality, or la 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 la, like the vibration of her tonality, that's the language of the universe. The universe responds to vibrations. That's why we have emotions, because our emotions are sending out vibrations.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to just cut in and just mention that.
Yeah, that's great, Lou. Lisa?
Now, I think that what we need to be aware also about is that sometimes we can have very good attitude, but something happen and then we lose the attitude. And here we are all Supermans and superheroes, you know. But what happened with Superman is that if you put a kryptonite near to Superman, he will lose his power. And it's the same with us people. We have also kryptonites that make us to lose our power, to lose our attitude. So we need to be very aware what is in my life that I have a kryptonite that makes me lose my power. For me, for example, if I don't work out after 3 days, my kryptonite is that. Then I start to losing my power. And then I will start to be irritated, like. So for me, it's very important to take care of my workouts. Even if I just dance 15 minutes to move, or go for a walk 15 minutes. I have a clients that have the kryptonite is if the person don't eat at this certain time, the attitude is like, so it's very important for that person to eat at the time that the person eats. So it's so for the people listen to, it's like, what is your kryptonite that make you go from Superman or Superwoman to lose the power?
Wow, Alicia. Did you bring out Superman because I'm a superhero guy? That's great. That's a great segue. Who here wants to dive in on this one? What is your kryptonite that shifts your vibration in a negative state?
I don't know, but Alicia said something that clicked in my head that I'll add. I don't know if I'll answer that directly, Jamel, but yeah, it really, one of the key principles is self-awareness, right? You have to really recognize your thoughts, your emotions, and the triggers, right? The triggers are your kryptonite. So you can't strengthen your attitude if you're unaware of what the negative patterns are that are holding you back.
Yeah.
So you really have to have that self-awareness, and you just have to, you know, sit back for a moment and say, okay, like, well, what is it that I'm thinking? What is it? I'm feeling this way. So what are my thoughts? Because that's what's directing, you know, my feelings. So that self-awareness is so important. So just something that she said that really made me think of that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And this is what thinking into results does. The thinking to results, the program that we work with is to get people to be aware of their self, that they can understand what kryptonite they have, or what is, yeah. Sorry, Paul.
I guess it's our paradigms, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. And you know, like we've talked a lot in previous things about you know, failures and seeing failures as stepping stones, right? So we need some a little bit this resilience. So you have to have that self-awareness. And then when you have a setback or something negative happens, and Jamel said something about this earlier, those are learning opportunities. So instead of seeing that setback or that failure as a stopping point, then you know, just you have to view it as feedback, which you know is going to guide you towards your success, right? And there's nothing to be gained by looking at the negative side of things. You don't gain anything by that, right? You just get yourself worked up and you put yourself in that negative place or that bad place, and that's all that you're going to attract. Because as we've been saying, you know, you put yourself with gratitude, you put yourself in a better vibration. And if you're negative, it's a, you know, it's a negative vibration, and you're just going to start seeing negative things, and you're just going to, you know, you're going to hit another red light, you're going to get another flat tire, you're going to come across someone else who's grumpy, you're going to, you know, come across those negative people. So yeah, you just have to recognize, be really self-aware, and then, okay, what is it? You know, just stop yourself. What is it I'm thinking? And don't be so, as Alicia said, don't be so reactive, right? You take that moment and you can react or you respond. And there's that little space in between you where you have a chance to think about what it is you're going to do.
Yeah, I love that, Paul. And, you know, Alicia brushed on this a little bit. You know, thinking into results is a very, very powerful mentorship program, leadership program, you know, that all of us study over and over and over. And what's special about it is you learn more about yourself. You're discovering yourself and the laws of your being and how it's connected to your results. And this topic is so important and so powerful to understand. And we all have it, right? You can be unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you don't know, or unconscious competent. There's different levels of competence and awareness, right? So I was thinking about the law of cause and effect because I remember you're the source of everything. So it's like throwing a rock in a pond and seeing the ripples go out. But we want to take that to another level. It can even go up and down in a spherical, not just on a lateral move. It's all over the world in the universe. Actually, I read something about a thought has the same power as the stars and the planets and the suns and whatnot that's created out in the universe. So you have that same energy inside you, but our limited condition kind of lowers our own value. That's why vibrational state is so amazing. Like think about your favorite day, whether it's your birthday or a wedding or divorce, whatever it is, right? Whatever brought you joy in that day, just think about it, right? Your child's birthday, pets is a good one. You know, Alicia mentioned working out, dancing. You know, maybe you're out with some loved ones celebrating a milestone you hit. Just go there in your mind's eye, and go to that place and really remember it. And what you're doing, you're changing your vibration, you're changing your attitude. So holding on to that, you know, is the key because you have to be aware when your thoughts start to shift. And usually your thoughts shift based on what's happening on the outside, right? So, you know, this is so good to talk about because not a lot of people really understand what attitude and vibrational state really means and how it impacts their entire life, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Yeah, just some thoughts that came to mind there.
Hmm.
I wanted to mention, so talking about kryptonite and whatnot, a couple of things. I always remind myself, I am the highest form of creation. I am the highest form of creation. So, meaning whatever I see, sometimes you see this amazing hotel or building or bridge or anything that you're just awestruck by it. And I think, I am the highest form of creation. I am the highest form of creation. So when something's happening outside of me, so to speak, I remind myself of that. The other thing is the story and meanings we give to things. One of my favorite quotes is suffering is necessary until you realize it isn't necessary.
Yeah, that's
Oh my gosh, right? So it's whether somebody aggravates, let's just say it's a person that aggravates you. It's really not the person, it's the story you're giving
mhm.
that person. Because this is why self-study is so important in personal development. Because once you understand how this magnificent machine works, how this power flows to and through us and is in us and around us, when you understand you, because we're all the same, you start to understand everyone. So when someone's behaving in a way that maybe is aggravating you or whatever, you start to understand what's going on in their mind, because if it wasn't going on in their mind, they wouldn't be behaving that way.
Yeah.
But so you start to separate the human, as far as being a pure spirit, from the conditioned human, the way they were trained and domesticated to think certain ways and react. You start to separate the two, and you start to say, well, they're just like me. They just got some stuff going on in their head. That's why they come across with either a great attitude or a crappy attitude. But I've learned not to, it's always a work in progress, but I'm getting better and better, not labeling someone per se, but understand that they just got stuff going on in their head and they're just acting it out, because that's what the mind does, right? It expresses itself through this thing called the body. So the more I understand me and give myself grace, the more I do it for others. Because I know everyone is just trying to figure it out. We're all just trying to figure our way out through life. And everything's an experiment. So when you understand that, that's why each one of these calls builds upon one another. If you notice, every single call, we talk about thoughts, feelings, and actions, thoughts, feelings, and actions, thoughts, feelings, and actions, vibrations, what you're attracting. So the more you can be more mindful of your attitude and ask yourself, well, why does this thing bother me? Why is that person bothering me? Why is that situation bothering me? That's been a new one for me. Like, well, Lou, why is it aggravating you? Forget the person, forget what's, forget what's happening, but why is it bothering you? And I go, oh, okay. And it's just like, okay, I get it. So, but it's a lot of self-reflection. You got to check in on yourself. Why is this bothering me? Why am I reacting this way? Is it really the person, or is it the meaning I'm giving it? And then for me, I just learned to step back, let something just flow on by, just move on by, and the next moment is going to be better. That's just, but this all took personal development, understanding me. It didn't happen overnight, and it took elite mentorship, because I couldn't get out of my own thinking with my own mind. My mind was creating my thinking. So I needed someone else's perspective, someone else who's been where I've been and is no longer there. I needed to borrow their perspective, right? Their wisdom, their results. their point of view. So by that, it helped me get out of my own way.
Mhm.
And that's what elite mentorship does. It helps you get out of your own way because we're trying to use our mind to fix our mind, so to speak. And it just really doesn't work.
Yeah.
That was really good, Lou. I would change the word fix, though.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Improve.
Improve, upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction, Jamil.
Yeah.
Yes.
My
I
pleasure.
normally see this like learning a language.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like you
Yeah.
you learn a language and then you can decide how to use that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's and I also, when you talk about what people have in mind, I remember myself that okay, we all have a backpack pack with
Mhm.
us with things that has happened before, and I don't know what they have in their back.
Mhm.
I know what I have in mind. And sometimes when something happens and it triggers something in me, it's more like I have something in my backpack that is triggering that.
Sure.
I go back to what Paul say about learning, because it's to have an attitude of win or learn, you know, or you win something when with your attitude, or you learn something, and then have an attitude that okay, everything is a learning curve, you know. And I don't know if you know these guys. You know these guys.
Oh gosh.
Is
You
that
have you have
right?
children. You know that, and you know there is like Hakuna Matata. You know,
Mhm.
it's like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Hakuna Matata. Then so it's like taking life like okay, I learned something about this. I learned something about me. This situation give me the opportunity to learn something about me and
Mm.
other people, because when I start to learn more, and for me it was like when I started to learn more about me and understand what triggered me different events, and taking responsibility for my response,
Mhm.
not the reaction,
Mhm.
then I started to understand also other people. So,
Mhm.
okay, this person is reacting because something trigger, or they want to, I don't know, behind every behavior, you have a winning for yourself. So it's how I think about people, and how I try to, or not try,
Mhm.
I work is a work in progress all the time. Yeah, and it's I know that when my kryptonites are there is when I lose the attitude. So I'm very very careful to. I have a protocol that for me is my energy. If I don't protect my energy and handling in the right way, I lose my attitude. So for me, it's why my protocol is like morning routine, the gratitude, the workout, my special tea that I drink, all this, because I know that it helped me to stay in my power.
Yeah. That's great. Paul, you had some thoughts there?
Yeah, just when discussing attitude, that and generally people think, okay, what's our attitude towards the world? But we have to look at, the attitude we have towards ourselves,
Mhm.
because it's the attitude we take towards ourselves which determines our attitude towards everyone else. And we do seem to tend to take ourselves for granted because we know ourselves so well, and so that we minimize the things that we can accomplish, right? And the other thing was Earl Nightingale, who was Bob's mentor, and he listed 10 things to keep in mind about attitude. But the first thing he mentioned, which is really my favorite of the 10 things that he mentions, is that our attitude at the beginning of a task is what will affect its successful outcome. And so I mean, as we've said, things just are. It just is. And so how do we, as Alicia said, how do we look at that thing, right? And so, determine it's bad or it's good, or what is it? So, we just have to decide, and as Jamel said earlier, start looking at the positive things. Focusing on the negative things doesn't do anyone any good, and most of all, doesn't do you any good. So that was what I wanted to add. That's what clicked to me.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me to mention, I'm glad you mentioned focus on a good attitude at the start of everything, right? Even especially things you don't want to do, find the good in it. And there's always good in every moment, in every situation, no matter how bad it is. In the eye of the storm, it's very quiet, right? Um, Never allow the outside to shape the inside. It's, as you see, a lot of our calls are connected, and it's all about learning yourself and the power. And what's mentioned earlier about judgment, that's a big one. When we judge other people, usually it's something in ourselves that we're judging. And this is where self-reflection comes in. You really got to look at yourself. Why, Alicia's flashlight, why am I judging this person because of that? Maybe they don't like to cut their yard. Maybe they can't afford new shoes, right? Or a fancy whatever. We have all these judgments about people by the outside, what we see with our eyes, right? It's interesting when you think about it. But another thing is, when you think somebody's above you, that they have all this status, whatever, you also think of people below you as well. So you kind of have to have a clear mind and see the positive in everything, in every individual, because all we are is individual states of consciousness having that experience, right? So you can't force anyone to change, right? You can't force anyone to feel good. It comes from the person, from the individual consciousness. So I can get really deep about this, but it's very important to not even judge yourself, but be curious and always focus on the positive. That way, your attitude is bulletproof, meaning very prepared for anything life wants to throw at you. Anybody want to dive in there?
I heard over last weekend, I love this: intention, attention, and no tension. So when you start your day, this is why we start with gratitude. What is your intention for the day? Or if you're walking into a meeting or whatever it is, what is the intention? So focus on that intention, right? With your attention. And then just let it go, right? Just stay focused on what it is that you want. Pre-pave your day. Sometimes you may have to pre-pave, an hour at a time or 15 minutes or a minute at a time. Pre-pave. What do you want? What do you want to happen? The outcome. So set your intention and focus your attention on it, but don't put any pressure on it. Just let it flow and let's just see what happens. But just again, focus and concentrate on what it is that you want, the outcomes that you want, but let it happen. Let it happen without a lot of force. Don't force it, right? Just let it flow. Trust the process of life. The tree does not stress out about its leaves, about its branches, about its bark, about the season. It just happens. Nature takes care of it. And remember, we're the highest form of creation. So if we set out our intentions, if we put our intentions out there, focus on the intention, the good that we desire, nature will do its part. We have to remember that. But we're trying to force the change, force the change. Just think of the tree. The tree is just chilling. It's just being a tree. And everything a tree needs to do, it happened to a tree, nature takes care of it. So trust the process of life. Have the best attitude that you possibly can. And if you have to take it moment by moment, then so be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add something to that, what Lou said, and that it's so important to have clarity of purpose, right? When you have a clear vision of your goals and your values, it's easier to stay focused and grounded, even when things become a little bit challenging. So that's really important, Lou. I love that she said that, because that you have to have that real clarity of purpose, and when you have that clear vision, then you can. It's easier to stay focused, and then just maintain that attitude that you want to have.
And that's what started this very first call. If you recall, it was goals. What do you want? And until you decide and understand and fall in love with that, it can be challenging to stay on course, because what do you staying on course for? That's why the goal is so important. Whether you call it a goal, whether you call it purpose, whether you call it vision, whether you call it your passion, you must give the mind a target to start to attract to you, so you can start to draw to you the experiences, the resources, the people and events to you.
Wow, this has been such a great call. A lot of powerful information shared here, and I'm sure it's going to help somebody today.
Yeah.
And speaking of help, we're all here to help you. As you can tell, we're very passionate about this material, passionate about growth in life. Alicia has new props every Sunday. Why would we miss this?
Not always, but almost.
Yeah, almost, yeah. You brought some new ones today, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for each of you. So, reach out to us. We're living flesh, just like you, and we all have the same gifts. And we're all growing like the trees Lou mentioned, right? So, our call links are in the description. Set up a time so we get to know you and give you that direction, and also give you more assistance outside of your own mind towards the attitude that you want to have every day. When we're not having a good time living or doing whatever we're doing, you're in alignment. You're not in alignment with your true self. Life is meant to be joyful, fulfilling, all the positive attributes you can think of. It's not meant to be, oh, another day. Oh, let me do this. So, if it's that's even more of a reason for you to seek mentorship. Okay. So anyway, yeah, great call, everybody.
Yeah.
And there'll be an exercise in the, I know I put it on my comments on my social media feed. So
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. There'll be an exercise, in the comments for you to apply this topic, to, your life, because it's very important. This is everything. What we shared today. We can do probably 4 more hours of this.
what's more important than your life? Think about it. Like, what is more important than your life? Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that. All right, folks. Well, we'll see you next Sunday. It's always a pleasure at Coach's Corner.
I won't be here next Sunday, but I'll catch you the fall. I'll be in sunny Florida.
Oh, you're coming down where I am.
Right. So
I'm
safe
flying up.
sunshine.
There you go. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.